Hi, and welcome to Shawndi's Kitchen. Tonight we're going to be going through what you can do with a whole chicken. So last night I started with a pasture-raised chicken and why a pasture-raised chicken. So and I'm just going to be cooking some stuff here as we talk. And here's some of the chicken I've got. It was a 5-pound chicken. And then I have some chopped right over here that we're going to put in 2 different dishes. And so I cooked a pasture-raised chicken. So why a pasture-raised chicken? Pasture-raised chickens are grown in a sustainable environment. They are allowed to be outside, and that's exactly what the pasture means. Most chickens are raised in a cage, and even if they're cage-free, they're inside a building. And most of them are raised on about the size of a piece of paper. Makes them very stressed. Those stress hormones go into the eggs, they go into the meat, and then we eat them. The chickens get sick, and they give them antibiotics, and all of that goes into the meat. And so it's really important that you vote with your wallet and buy a pastured chicken. Anyway, so I put this in the Instant Pot last night, and it only takes about 25 minutes, maybe a little bit longer with the startup and cool down. But anyways, the chicken, you season it, you just set it in there, and the chicken just literally falls off the bones. So then what did I do so I'm making one of our dishes is some chicken and bok choy. And so I started this with a little bit of, you can use chicken broth or vegetable broth, but our chicken broth isn't quite done. So I'm using a little vegetable broth here. And I sauteed some green onions and some fresh ginger. So this is a really good thing to keep in your fridge. I keep some fresh ginger and fresh turmeric because they're really good spices. They're great for anti-inflammatories. So just keep those on hand in your kitchen, or in your fridge. So I minced up some fresh ginger, and it's in here now. And we have the mushrooms. The recipe calls for shiitake mushrooms. I didn't happen to have any, so I'm just using regular mushrooms, which is just fine. So then what did I do last night with the chicken? I took all the meat off of the bones, and then I transferred the bones over here to my crock pot. And I added some carrots, onion, celery, and a bunch of water. And then this bone broth has been going for almost 24 hours now. And so you can see like all the chicken bones and everything in here. And first you put some apple cider vinegar on it, and that helps draw more of the minerals out of the bones. And that's about it. You bring it to a boil, then you turn it down on low, put it in the crock pot, and hands off, and you've got this amazing bone broth going. And so do that for 24 hours, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to spoon out all of the bones and the vegetables and then strain it and put it into some quart jars, and I will show you some finished bone broth that I made earlier this week. So this is some finished bone broth, and what happens when you put this in the fridge is that the fat will come to the top, and actually the fat on the top acts as a seal. And so this will, the more that you have that, the longer this will last, probably up to about a week in the fridge. And then of course you spoon off that fat, and you are good to go. So back to our dish here. So we're just sauteing this, literally each thing for a couple of minutes. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put in our bok choy. So if you've never seen bok choy, it looks like this. So it looks like a small head of lettuce, and these are all together. And so we've just chopped up the bok choy. We're going to add this in now, and we're going to add our cooked chicken in. So you notice, lots of wonderful green in this meal, and so I'm just going to put our chicken in. It's 2 chicken breasts, so we're using the out of the chicken. We're going to use the breasts in this meal, and then we've got all the other parts still left. Okay, so I'm just going to heat this up. And again, I'm going to turn my heat down to low now. And meanwhile, I have steamed some broccolini actually with the stems, and this is about ready. So I've just steamed it, and we're going to make another dish with some asparagus. And so if you don't know, the way to store your asparagus is in a small dish of water. Keep that, you can keep the rubber band around it that comes in the store, but get it out of the plastic wrap and it will last a lot longer. So I have washed this asparagus. I'm just going to chop it up. And when you're chopping, the good rule of thumb is to bend your fingers down so that your knife goes right along your knuckles. And we're gonna go ahead, and our broccoli is ready, so I'm just gonna pour it in here right now. And we're gonna continue to, I'm gonna steam the asparagus now. I could have steamed them together actually. Okay. Put those in here. And so when your water comes to a boil, then what you're gonna do is just put the lid on, and we're just gonna steam that for a few minutes. And you can steam it not chopped up as well. So, back to the bok choy. So I've got the bok choy, onions, mushrooms, ginger in this pan. And we're just going to saute this for just a few more minutes to soften so that the bok choy softens a little bit. And then we're going to add in some rice vinegar. And this is what rice vinegar looks like. So we're just going to add in a tablespoon of that. And then we're also going to add in some, you can use soy sauce. I use, this is the kind that I use, and this one is wheat-free and low sodium. So you can use any kind of that you would like. But I just always, again, read the ingredients, and you want to have the least amount of ingredients, the most pure ingredients available. So this is a fermented soy sauce, which is what I use. And so it says, I think it's 2 tablespoons. No, it's just 1 tablespoon. So we're just going to put that in there and mix it around. It smells amazing. The meal to put it all together is I will have our whatever we're using for salad greens. Right now we've been eating a lot of arugula, but you can use, you know, your whatever kind of greens that you would like to eat. Your fresh greens you can put in. You can chop up, you know, celery, grate some carrots, whatever, you know, more onions, more garlic, whatever you would like. Anyway, so you can see that the green is even getting brighter here with the bok choy. And then I'm going to throw in some red pepper flakes. And this is just kind of to taste what you would like. If you are going to use salt, I recommend sea salt, Himalayan sea salt. And I use kelp granules. That's great mineral from the sea, and I use this. So I'm just going to put a little bit of this on here. If you would like some fresh ground pepper, you can put that in there. And then if you want to give it a little kick, I've got some cayenne pepper here that I'm going to throw in. And one of the things you'll notice is the aroma just is really, really nice as this dish is coming to the finale. And so then the other thing that I would do, so I've still got a lot of chicken left, and And just so you know, even the recommendation for the serving of meat is about 3 ounces, which is about the size of your palm. So we're used to eating, you know, 8, 12, 20 ounce steaks and really big pieces of meat. It's much better for our digestive system if we have just a small amount. You can also do this meal without chicken. So I have some quinoa here that I've cooked, and I actually, it's soaked and sprouted, which is just so little time that you have to do it, just a matter of rinsing, leaving it on your counter. And so I'm gonna take this quinoa and I'm gonna mix it with some of this other stuff over here. Another good thing, like I had some kale in the fridge that just needs to be eaten up. And so I'm just gonna add some kale, and to de-stem it, you just run your fingers right down. It's super easy. And then you just chop that up. And so I've just got some kale over here, some red onions, I've got some roasted red peppers, and some sun-dried tomatoes, some garlic. And so anyways, I'm gonna throw this kale right in here, turn this down to low, and it's just gonna be a minute, and this dish is just about done. And so then you would just taste it, and if you want to add some more of your soy sauce, you can, or some more flavor with it. What I would do with this is I'm just gonna take it and put right on top of my greens. And then I'm just gonna drizzle just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil right on top. And then my sauerkraut is not quite ready that I've made of my own, so I've just using some store-bought sauerkraut, just about a forkful. And I'm gonna add some fresh sliced avocado on top. This is the good fat for our brain. And it is ready to go. And so that's one dish. Now we're going to, real quick, I'm just going to show you how to put this other dish together. So you can use like a coconut oil to saute in. I like to use just water or broth. And so I'm just going to use just a little bit of water. Water saute is just a really good healthy saute for any of your vegetables. And so I'm just going to let this water heat for a second, and then I'm going to saute these onions. So I'm going to speed this along a little bit. So I'm going to saute these onions until they're translucent, just probably about 5 minutes. And after that 5 minutes goes by, then you would just turn the heat down to low, and then you're going to add in your fresh minced garlic. And just saute that for just a couple more minutes. Then when that is done, then that's when I would just put this all together. So I'm going to put the quinoa, and now my asparagus and my kale. Look at how beautiful and bright that is. I'm just going to add that right to the dish. I'm going to add in my roasted red peppers. You see all these beautiful colors. The more beautiful colors you can eat, the better. And these are some sun-dried tomatoes. So I'm going to mix this all together. And you can see just what a beautiful combination it is. And then I have, for the sauce for this, I've made a homemade pesto. And again, you can just, you can do a combination. I could add some of this broccoli, this steamed broccoli. I can chop some of that up and put that right in there. Just the more variety that you can eat, the better, because all of these things are more concentrated in different vitamins and minerals. But isn't that just a beautiful dish? And so for my sauce, I have made a homemade pesto. And so I'm just going to, I would just take it off of the heat and I'm going to mix this pesto right in. If you don't have time to make the pesto for this particular meal, then they've got a decent one at Costco that you can use in a pinch. I always keep some on hand in case I need to use it, but homemade pesto is so easy. And in fact, I put a recipe in the Facebook group. I put one yesterday, and you can see over here I have this fresh basil plant. Super easy, and you've got basil all the time. And so the same with this one. I would just take whatever raw greens I'm having, and whatever, if I want to put celery and some more onions, and then I would literally just spoon this right on top. And drizzle a little olive oil if you would like. And then I'm going to put my fresh avocado. And a forkful of sauerkraut to help with digestion. And there you go. I hope you enjoyed this, and and then of course, so we've got the bone broth as well, and it will be done. You can use bone broth in so many different ways. You can just drink it plain. You can mix it in and make other soups. So like I can take and you see how much chicken I still have left, and there's plenty. So I can put chicken also in this, which I forgot to do. And so I would chop that up if you would like, or you can just leave it without the chicken. But you can see how much I still have left, so I can take this and use it in yet another recipe. And so it goes a long ways. So by doing this, you save a lot of time because you make several meals all at once, and then you've ready to go. You've got lunch for tomorrow. You've got leftovers that you can take this and put it in a wrap. There's so many different ways that you can make the same meal taste different. So I hope you enjoyed this time in my kitchen, and there's going to be more to come. And have a great rest of your day, and remember that a smile can make someone else's day. Bye-bye.